Hello all, I'm the Film Bastard and welcome back. You know, sometimes there's not anything quite like throwing a house party, is there? Friends young and old getting together and singing and drinking and laughing and smoking all around you. Joviality to be had by all. The nice thing about house parties is that they're not just for us common folk. You know, it's often reported that the rich and the famous have way better parties than we could ever conceive of. Now, I know if you're an awful lot like me, you've often imagined a world in which all of your friends were more rich and successful and popular than you were. But, let's put them aside for a moment, shall we? Can you imagine if you and all of your friends starred in a series of samey, juvenile, yet wildly popular films for the better part of 15 years? Why, I bet you could throw a house party that would bring about the very end of the world as we know it. Now, I was never a fan of the frat pack comedies, but there's no denying their staying power. There's something about stoned man-children and wacky, implausible scenarios that really endears itself to the average moviegoer. They say that only God can judge, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. This is the end. So the film starts with an uncomfortable close-up of Seth Rogen's face. I see you're already testing the audience's will to live here, movie. He's at an airport, presumably LAX, waiting for... Oh, Christ. Not this asshole again. So Jay Barnacle shows up to hang out with his BFF Seth Rogen. And what will they be doing? Smoking weed and playing Killzone 3 in 3D, which was the style at the time.
Airheads on a... and it says Jay.
One time lapse later, Seth Rogen suggests they go to James Franco's for a housewarming party. I can't be the only one who thinks that Jay Barrium is really forgettable, right?
Yes! What's up, man? Seth! So happy you're here. Hey, Johnny, what's up? Hey, it's Jay. Never forget it again, man. Good to see you.
Swish! Poor Jay Baritone finds fitting in difficult, and instead goes off in search of every cameo appearance the movie could afford. Growing bored with the veritable who's who of famous people from the last decade and change, Jay and Seth go out in search of cigarettes. On the ill-fated cigarette run, blue lights descend from the skies and begin disappearing people, leaving those left on terra firma to die by a series of aesthetically wonderful contrivances. When Jay and Seth get back to James Franco's party, they realize that everything is more or less the status quo. No one at the party has disappeared. Mistaking the recent explosions for earthquakes, the party exoduses to the front yard because being outside in an earthquake is safer. I guess.
What's happening to me?
Wow. I can't tell you how long I've waited to see that. Anyway, a hellmouth swallows everyone who won't comprise the main cast, including... So back in the house, we're left with James Franco, Seth Rogen, Craig Robinson, and Jonah Hill. They're trying to figure out what to do when...
I'm not dead yet.
But... Fuck's sake! What? What are you smirking at over there? What the f*** is so goddamn funny? I can't do this. You know, I hate him so goddamn much.
You got no choice, man.
I've got choice.
Get back on the couch.
I'm not getting back on the couch.
Get back on the couch.
Fine. So we've got James Franco, Seth Rogen, Craig Robinson, Jonah Hill, and Jay Barrister left to go through the rest of their rations, which reads like a poor man's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
We got 12 bottles of water, 56 beers, 2 vodkas, 4 whiskey, 6 bottles of wine, tequila, Nutella,
Also a
cheese,
quarter tequila,
pizza, eggs.
quarter rum, case of beer, pint of raw ether, 2 dozen amyl.
Now you'll notice they keep referencing this Milky Way bar a lot, and I know what you're thinking. It's gonna be a Deus Ex Machina, Chekhov's gun. No, it means nothing. It means f***ing nothing. There's no payoff here. In the morning, we start on someone's feet and follow them into the kitchen. Now, the framing here would suggest that we haven't seen this character before, but the movie already kept Jay Blackberry. I mean, surely it wouldn't punish us any further. Right?
Fuck yeah.
This keeps getting worse and worse. Whatever. It. After Danny McBride demolishes most of their rations, St. J. Bambino surmises that the rapture as predicted in the Book of Revelation is upon them. This goes over about as well as a wet fart in church.
Unto the earth.
I'll let it do. He's from where the wild things are.
As it should turn out, Jay is more or less correct. As the gang's internal pressures mount, they are antagonized by exterior forces, which do in fact turn out to be Meatloaf's album art come alive. Craig sacrifices himself to one of these demons and is immediately raptured. Jay Blasphemy, Seth Rogen, and James Franco are literally run into by Mad Max cannibals led by Danny McBride, and don't worry, the movie gives about as much explanation for why this happened as I just did, and James Franco sacrifices himself too. However, during his rapturing, he taunts Danny McBride, which I guess means he's no longer eligible for heaven, and is immediately devoured. Ah, tabernacle. When it looks like all hope is lost, Seth and Jay kiss and make up, and are both sent off to the rapture. In heaven, they are greeted by Craig Robinson, who tells them that in heaven, anything they wish for comes true. After Seth and Jay do a little docking with their new halos, Seth wishes for a Segway, and Jay wishes for the Backstreet Boys to come perform.
We're back again.
Hey, I must be an angel. My wish for the f***ing credits to roll came true. So that was the end. As I've said before, I'm not typically a fan of the frat pack comedies, and this movie seems to exemplify why pretty well. For every funny scene, there's a 5-minute, poorly ad-libbed discussion about who would hypothetically rape Emma Watson. And yet, despite all that, I found that I liked the film. The practical effects work was unusually competent, it has a great propensity for violence against a lot of very punchable faces, and a disjointed story on paper is held together by a relatively strong ensemble cast. Yet there's something that still bugs me about this movie.
I hate Jay so fucking much.
Go on.
I think he might be the worst person you ever created. I don't want to judge you, but what's up? What were you thinking that day?
I couldn't have said it better myself. That in mind, I think that about does it for me. I'm the Film Bastard, and as always, until our next review... Well, it appears we have our first call, despite the notable handicap of this not being a call-in show. Well, whatever. Farron, patch it through. Hello, you're on with the Bastard.
Yeah, hi there. This is Jay Baruchel.
Baruchel? Is that how you pronounce that? Well, okay. Well, what can I do for you?
I'm just curious, have you always been this much of a fuckhead, or what happened there?
What?
I'm just really fascinated, blown away, interested to hear about the origins of your fuckheadedness. So, #fuckhead.